Okay, this is the last part من السيشنز بتاعت النهارده. هحاول ان شاء الله to summarize as much as possible. انا عارف انه جه وقت الغدا. الديمو session that I want to show you النهارده هحاول to simulate a journey of an IT help desk integration with Zendesk on the front end and the back end, and we'll go through a similar situation, typical situation of a website where you go and try to reach for the help desk. This could be Apple support. This could be your internal help desk. This could be a lot of things. The starting point here will be the chat integration, chat channel type by default. This could be طبعا the journey itself can be designed in any way you want. We can design it with you. ولكن the example, just for the sake of the example, is going to be a chat session. This icon that you see at the bottom here, the floating button, right? It's just one way, أحد الطرق that you can embed the contact center trigger point in a website. This could be a button that you make available بحيث إن الناس to have a voice call, or a video call, or a chat in this case. So let's start with the journey and then I will walk you through this example. طيب. The first thing to be done here is that we have more than one way actually انه to authenticate طبعا the user. طبعا we have ممكن احنا we can already make use of the fact انه your user can be authenticated already. We can grab this data, you can push it to the Zoom client, the widget, and then we use that data to make routing decisions. Or we can have authentication from scratch. So in this case, let's say I'm choosing my registered email. And here we can integrate with any of authentication methods that you use so that at the end we authenticate your user. This could be a push notification to the phone. This could be an SMS. In any way that you use to authenticate the users today, we can integrate with this. So that the users are able to be authenticated. In this case, it's a 6-digit OTP, which is supposed to be this. 59. $8547. What you see here now is the Zoom virtual agent is in the front end type. The virtual agent here at this point in time is as good as the authority that you plan to give it to help the customer. Meaning, and this is also one of the things I keep بفكر فيه طول الوقت when we speak to customers about this. The customer service, the reason why, in my view, that technology and customer service improved a lot, but still customer service itself still has a lot of issues. It's hard to get right. And واعتقد في وجهة نظري أنا إنه في سببين mainly. واحد, the technology moves so fast. So by the time a technology matures in your environment, something else comes up. Now we need to look at that as well. The second challenge is it's hard to get right لأنه to have customer satisfaction is very challenging. If you need to do 10 things to deliver a successful engagement with a quick first call resolution with a customer, if you miss one, it will harm everything else you've done. The problem is our customers or your customers can switch to the competition, and the sad part is they will not tell you about it. I will call the competition وانت مش هتعرف that they did, which is very sensitive. This is why customer service is one of the things that if we don't get right can be very harmful. And if we get right can be super helpful to your business. It's an image that this customer, I know that I can call these guys and they will help me out. So let's say in this case, you designed the Zoom virtual agent to take care of this, at least qualification of the technical issue. You can go as fancy as you want here, meaning I can feed knowledge based articles from your support input from third-party web pages, and the ZVA, the virtual agent, or the Zoom chatbot is going to crawl these pages and using AI to certify and classify the questions and answers and provide these for the ZVA to be able to help the customer initially. And also you can train, of course, the AI assistant to recognize the intent based on the customer input. So in this case here, I'm just going to say I have an issue with printer. Again, the journey, you can go as fancy as you want here. You can send videos and links, and this is just for the sake of the example of what is possible, right? The simple example here, ZVA is asking, well, okay, how bad is this problem? How urgent it is? Can it wait or not? And what the example I'm going to use here is that, well, no, or maybe yes, it's a bit urgent and I don't want to wait. You decide when you design the engagement that for urgent matters, I want to send this to a tech support right away because this cannot wait. Or because this customer is a VIP in my organization who should not wait and needs attentive technical support right away. And we got this information because we authenticated the user. We used that to route this engagement to the right person in the right time with the right priority. Good. So at this point in time, ZVA is decided that I will going to transfer the engagement to the agent. Now, quickly to the agent, we switch here. Again, the contact center using the same Zoom client, there's nothing additional in this case. The only thing is the contact center icon is now added, part of the team chat and the meeting and the phone icon. And the same client can be used in all of these. So the agent logs in, receives the contact. The agent can now preview the history of the conversation that happened on the chat, what the ZVA offered as help, and what the customer has said initially, so that to spare the time, as Ian was saying, and the worst thing you can do is to connect to a customer and say, or an agent that says, okay, قول لي بقى مشكلتك من الأول ونقعد نعيد قصتنا من أول امبارح. طبعا this saves a lot of time. بيحضر الايجنت ان هو يفهم المشكله فين ويبتدي الانجيجمنت على طول. Okay, was not quick enough. At this point in time, this is an active conversation between the agent and the customer. No, wrong one. You can see now the agent has joined in a chat conversation between both of them. Now, this is where this can be very useful in a context like this. The agent still has his standard unified communications tool as well. This is the same Zoom client, which means I can bring in someone via phone, or I can send chat to someone else. I can chat with a supervisor and tell him, by the way, I need help, right? Or one of the things I can do is, again, escalate this to a video call. This is so easy to implement on Zoom. Video is our thing, right? An invitation will be sent to the customer, and all the customer needs to do then is to click on that link to start the video call. Now, using video in contact center can be super useful in many ways. In a technical support use case here, this can be helpful if a box is not working and I want to show the engineer which button should I press, or what is the lights showing on a device, or how do I do this? Or the engineer might tell me, طب ممكن تبص على label at the back and tell me whatever it is. So the video can be very helpful in this case as well. By the way, in parallel to this, a supervisor can in real time look at the active engagement and decide to barge in or watch the chat or the video or the voice engagement as well. So at this case, at this point in time, this is now a video engagement that has been escalated from chat seamlessly. لا القسمر يحتاج إن هو ينزل Zoom client, by the way. So this is from the web. لو رجعنا to the website that you see now, there's no need for a Zoom client. So this is WebRTC based embedded Zoom video within the website itself. ومن ناحية the agent is using the standard Zoom client that he's using for normal operation, just one client. And at the end of the engagement, you can have your disposition codes or the closed reason codes, and you can nest the disposition codes and have a sub disposition code that says, yes, the problem is issue, and the problem is solved, and the issue was the cartridge was empty, something like this. You close the engagement, and then you're ready for the next one. Okay, so that was a typical flow. That's very simple, but it just shows you how the flow can be, when implemented right. And by that I mean, if you don't give the ability to ZVA to have its own knowledge base in the backend, or if you don't train the ZVA to recognize the intents, none of that would have happened, right? Okay, now I want to try the same engagement, but this time بشكل مختلف شوي. Let's say I'm starting a similar engagement, except in المرة دي this engagement can take a different route. Right? Four-digit OTP authentication to 14440. لو افتكرتوا المرة اللي فاتت احنا we chose انه لا this cannot wait type. But this time I'm gonna assume that this is, I have a problem, but it's not so urgent. It's okay if it waits a little bit. Okay. Again, ZVA is able to understand the intent and then respond with the flow that you have designed. In this case, لا يحصل is something else. In this case, what ZVA is going to do is call the Zendesk API, automatically create a support ticket on behalf of the customer, assign it to the right skill, someone who knows very good with printers. The customer automatically will get the email and a case has been opened. And ZVA is be able to, none of that has involved a human agent so far, but ZVA managed to do that API backend integration and return a Zendesk ticket ID, and the customer by now received the email for this as well. Guys? So I'm going to say no thanks to this, and okay, thanks, somebody's looking into it. It's not super urgent, but I'm okay. But then what happens next is I decide to actually call into the contact center, right? And with this, I want to show you the اللي بيحصل when we call the contact center in an IT help desk or Zendesk environment. Okay. So if we refresh now, we can see this is Zendesk, by the way, and we can see a ticket has been automatically created via simple API integration to Zendesk with the issuer printer support ticket that has been created and assigned to the right support engineer type. Now, the customer wants to call in, but then we are using the native Zendesk contact center integration. What you see now is a Zoom contact center widget embedded into Zendesk. And the agent logs into it and is able to receive voice and chat and video calls as well. Okay. So now if I'm trying to calling in the contact center, by the way, the same architecture for BYOC for Zoom Phone applies in the contact center command, which means you can have your own PSTN lines terminating into Zoom Cloud Contact Center using the same session border controller PSTN BYOC that we discussed in Zoom Phone. I just want to show you how شكل engagement عامل ازاي in the case of the native Zendesk integration.
With us, with a subject issue with printer. Ticket ID is 92. Please hold while I transfer you to the technical specialist.
So if you notice in the voice prompt, because we recognize the number they're calling from, we looked up the database and we can see the ticket ID and the issue, and we told the customer that, yeah, it looks like you have a ticket with us. Let me transfer you if you want. Of course, you can say, or you can again go fancy in this case and say, if you're calling for a ticket that we have with you already, right, press 1. Or if you're reporting a new issue, press 2. So this is just for the sake of the example. If you noticed, sorry. لو لاحظتوا هنا انه الايجنت ما ردش بسرعه, which means automatically switch to so that the customer doesn't wait too much. Let me just close this quickly because I want to see. Okay, and then you will have, sorry. So if you notice this, let's stop here for a sec. Again, this is Zoom Contact Center inside Zendesk, specifically for a Zendesk environment. No client installed. This is WebRTC Contact Center client embedded into the CRM. And in this case, a customer pop-up will show from Zendesk based on the customer that he's calling from, الرقم اللي طالب منه, ويبان لنا the customer profile and the open tickets with that customer. At this point in time, the agent have the ability in هو edit the case within Zendesk, لأنه في الآخر it's Zendesk. Intentionally احنا مخلين الagent ده lives within Zendesk. It doesn't need to move between applications. خلاص everything حياته كلها في Zendesk لأنه he's an IT help desk engineer and so on. ولكن from the Zoom client as well, and you can actually look at the actual engagement and you can have a comment to the same ticket ID and add your own notes here, and it will push it through an API integration to Zendesk to update the ticket. So it's up to the way the agent finds it easy to do. Now, speaking of this, of the CRM integrations, and I think Ian as well showed that quickly in his slides, we have what you've seen in the Zendesk integration, okay? We have with Salesforce, with ServiceNow, and Microsoft Dynamics, the exact same thing you've seen, a native integration of Zoom Contact Center into these commercial CRMs. Okay, I want to عايز أوريكم سريعا شكل الفlow editor within Zoom Contact Center, how a flow like this can be implemented. طيب, لأنه you will be impressed with how Zoom, again, the simplicity of integrations, how we make this simple بحيث إنه you yourself, the customer, can take care of simple integrations like this by yourself, which means time to service is much quicker than having to have long scoping sessions, expensive system integrations. Still possible. ولكن the simplicity here plays a very important role. لأنه when you look at how this simple to implement, we move that simplicity, we move that ability to you to do directly. مهندس علي كان بيقول, أنا عجبتني أول كلمة حضرتك قلتها, إنه you can manage now Zoom Phone by yourself. It's that simple. And this is the vision of Zoom, is to try to simplify this whole process of the complex backend integrations with CRMs, databases, and so on. So let me show you an example of how easy is this to build a custom flow like this and use the integrations within the flow editor. Again, we're scratching the surface. Yani this is just examples كده. There's so much that we would love to show you. Right? So let's take the one that we've just seen. Let's say the chat tech support. A graphical interface, simple graphical interface, widget based. This is our approach to what we call low code, no code. Right? Usually integrations like this محتاجة heavy developer engagement. We want to simplify this as much as possible. For example, I can make an HTTP call. Again, developers would know exactly what I'm talking about. But this could be a simple URL call to your database or your CRM. طبعا محتاج حد يقول لك ال endpoint details from a developer, but it's easy for a non-technical person to implement these kind of things. And if these are documented and made available for you, the supervisors, the business administrations can actually modify these integrations if they want or create their own. The idea is to try نحاول نبسط الأمور as much as possible, but not make it simple. Simpler, but not simple. بحيث انه remove the dependency على expensive, lengthy system integration efforts. Great. Speaking of which, أحد the options that we have as well is the ability to embed the same Zoom contact center widget, but in your own CRM. Any web page of your choice. Again, the same way it works. WebRTC based, no client to be installed, and you'll have the full controls of the Zoom contact center agent and supervisor as well. So this is the same engagement in a contact center environment as in using the normal client. This is an iframe that is embedded in your website for if you're interested in the development side of things. ولكن if you have an in-house CRM, you can embed Zoom Contact Center in that CRM. If you have an in-house application that is not one of the commercial developed CRMs or database applications, you can embed the contact center into these as well. And these can be easily done. And again, back to the extensibility of Zoom, لو تفتكروا, the documentation of this makes it very easy for someone with a little knowledge as knowing where to embed an iframe into a web page. This gets the job done. All right. One of the things I wanted to show as well, but I think maybe just to avoid repeating myself, is the ability to have this integration also on a mobile app, which means you can have your own mobile application with a button to reach the contact center for chat, voice, or video. This is also a possibility as well, right? So easily using the Zoom Contact Center SDK, embed a button to replicate نفس engagement that you designed via Zendesk and a ZVA as well, but from your mobile application or your own custom mobile app, either for yourself or for your customers. Right. On the integration front, again, Ian mentioned this as well, and we don't want to repeat ourselves, ولكن the power of the Zoom as a platform is that we are friendly we play nice with everybody. Yani, can Zoom integrate with nice recording that I have? Yes. Can Zoom integrate with Calabrio WFM? Yes. Can we integrate with a third-party speech analytics engine? Yes. Because we make our platform open to integrating with the ecosystems of third parties that we can integrate with, not only in the contact center space, but everywhere else. بتخلي القصة دي سهلة for you and less risky for you to actually look at where you need an integration that improves either satisfaction or lowers a pain or fixes a pain that you've been suffering with in your own contact center environment. Okay, the last thing I want to actually show you, and this is the last piece of, I want to show you a sneak peek. Again, we haven't shown you everything yet, but I want to give you a sneak peek of what is coming next in the roadmap too. So very soon, and I cannot share more details than this, لأنه we have to be under NDA, but we will be happy to, لو حابين إنه to sign an NDA and we can get into the details with timelines of what to expect and how is it going to work and so on. So email and WhatsApp is coming. Preview Dialer Plus. النهارده we have Preview Dialer. Controlled availability. ولكن we're looking into predictive dialing as well and other complicated outbound dialing algorithms. We're adding something like co-browsing and video remote control. the same technical support use case that we've seen, the agent can take control of the customer and fix the problem on his machine. So this is coming in the contact center environment. You can do this today in a Zoom meeting, of course, but not in a Zoom contact center yet. Lots of AI powered coming as well, AI powered features, right? So if you remember, we spoke about Zoom AI Companion. There's a lot of applications, AI powered applications that are coming in the contact center. Today, there's a lot of these applications being used already in the WFM and the quality management that we have launched recently. Things like finding the problem from historical information and suggest content to the agent for a fix. Right? And this could be something from historical data that the AI machine learning models can look into and then suggest the next best action for the agent. Things like keyword analysis, sentiment analysis, and speech analytics embedded within the client itself, powered by the Zoom AI. So a lot of these are happening today already with WFM and QM, but more of that to come when it comes to AI-powered implementations. Now, I want to close this session with one important point that I want to make. The stuff that you've seen, and you haven't seen everything. I haven't showed you everything, right? Just for the sake of time. But we've only been one and a half years since launch, which means that with the speed of innovation that Zoom is at right now, first of all, we're not claiming that we are the most sophisticated contact center vendor in the market. Contact center is, and this is not a lie or not something, I mean, it's not something to, it's very frank, and we can say that the contact center was not our area of expertise. We are new to the contact center environment, right? But everything you've seen now, just an example, is only a year and a half since we launched, which means where can we go a couple of years from now? So the journey and where Zoom is headed, right? I think we are going to get to be the most sophisticated contact center player, but not today, but we are certainly going there very soon. That's it. That was a very short and sweet demo. مش هطول عليكم أكتر من كده. ولو في أي أسئلة I'm happy to address. اتفضل.